And behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elisha. When angels make visible appearances, they may appear in angelic forms, as in Judges chapter 13, verses 3 through 21, or they may appear as men, as they're described in Acts chapter 1 and verse 11. Ephesians 6:12 suggests that we lack understanding about the spiritual warfare which we initiate when we desire to know and to do God's will in our lives, prayer and Bible study being included. For example, Daniel prayed in Daniel chapter 10, verse 2, to know God's will concerning his people. Daniel 8:16 records Gabriel's authorization to answer this request. And I heard a man's voice between the banks of Ulai, and he called and said, Gabriel, make this man to understand the vision. Again, Daniel prays in chapter 9, verse 3, and I set my face unto the Lord to seek by prayer and supplication with fasting and sackcloth and ashes. And again, Gabriel is sent to deliver God's answer. In Daniel 9:21, it says, Yea, while I was yet speaking in prayer, even the man Gabriel, whom I had seen in the vision at the beginning, being caused to fly swiftly, touched me about the time of the evening oblation. Chapter 10 of Daniel, verse 12. Then said he unto me, Fear not, Daniel, for from the first day that thou didst set thine heart to understand and to chasten thyself before thy God, thy works were heard, and I am come for thy words. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days. But lo, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, and I remained there with the king of Persia. Now I am come to make thee understand what shall befall thy people in the latter days, for the vision is yet for many days. Down to chapter 10 of Daniel, verse 21. But I will show thee that which is noted in the scripture of truth. And there is none that holdeth with me in these things, but Michael, your prince. Further, Daniel 3:28 states that it was the messenger, the angel of God, who delivered Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah from the fiery furnace. That's their Hebrews names. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were their pagan names that they were assigned. Likewise, Daniel 6:22 declares that it was a messenger, an angel of God, who delivered Daniel in the lion's den by shutting the mouths of the lions. Now, time would fail to continue this line of thought. It was Gabriel in Luke 1 who describes himself as the one that stands in the presence of God, who appeared to Zechariah to announce the birth of John the Baptist in verse 19, and appeared to Mary to announce the birth of Jesus in verse 26. The Lord hath prepared his throne in the heavens, his kingdom ruleth over all. Bless the Lord, ye his angels that excel in strength, that do his commandments, hearkening unto the voice of his word. Psalm 103, 19 and 20. Psalm 103:21. Bless ye the Lord, all ye his saints, ye ministers of his that do his pleasure. Bless the Lord, all his works, and all places of his dominion. Bless the Lord, O my soul. Someone has suggested that the four living creations symbolize that which is noblest, the lion, the strongest, the ox, the wisest, the man, and the swiftest, the eagle. Someone else has suggested that they represent God's constant vigil over non-domesticated animals, the lion, domesticated animals, the ox, mankind, represented by the man, and winged animal life, represented by the eagle. Representation for provision for aquatic life is lacking in these four suggestions, if that is what is meant. However, we know that God provides for aquatic life whether they're symbolized here or not. One other noteworthy suggestion says that the four living creatures are merely reflections of the following attributes of God: His majesty in the lion, His faithful endurance in the ox, His wisdom in man, and His sovereignty in the eagle. Now, there's much more I desire to share with you on this subject, but time simply will not allow to do so. Let me close by saying that there's no description of the traditional two-winged angel in Scripture. Does this mean that this description is erroneous? Does this mean that we've simply muddled the waters on this issue? I simply ask you, could it be that two-winged angels serve in the first heaven or Earth's atmosphere, and the four-winged angels or cherubim serve in the second heaven, that is the universe, and the six-winged angels serve in the third heaven, God's dwelling place? Or are all the angels two-winged creatures, except for these two special groups of four? The cherubim is noted in Genesis 3:24 and Ezekiel, and the seraphim is noted in Isaiah and Revelation. How many of this innumerable host are cherubim? How many are seraphim? I say, as interesting as these questions may be, God has not given us the full answers in what He has chosen to reveal in Scripture. Deuteronomy 29:29 should be considered. The secret things belong unto the Lord our God. We need to come to grips with the fact that God didn't tell us everything. But He goes on to say, but those things which are revealed belong unto us and to our children forever, that we may do all the words of this law. Therefore, we take the given information as sufficient to do our assigned task and avoid the foolish questions and speculations. And in this manner, we will move on with the facts as noted in the Scripture of truth.